Welcome everyone. Tonight in the Midweek Muster, I cast a game of two top players facing off in a battle of skill and strategy. Wham is leading the Japanese, Mahodo commands the Mongols. They're going head to head on Receding, a challenging map where adaptability is key. Who will come out on top? Let's find out. Mongols has been pretty popular here actually. Players really gravitate towards the Civ because of the desire around the Forgotten Ruins. But Japan is an interesting response, even more so when he does the Dark Age racks. Yeah, if this was like a feudal rush, I kind of get it because you could play into Shinobi, and Shinobi could then sabotage the exposed Uvu production buildings, but also would be great at moving and assassinating villages out in the middle of the map. Instead, Wham is just looking to get ahead of this timing, and in some ways it makes sense. You pay 75 wood for your racks, whereas your opponent's going to have to pay 300 wood. 150 for the Uvu, and then 150 for the racks. So there is a logic behind denying this, and even more so, getting that stone early, guys, is going to give him this. Katana Bannerman. And I am curious as to whether it has good stats, because I've never seen a Dark Age Katana Bannerman. Yeah, this would be a first. All right, Wham, you definitely firmly have my attention here. Anything special about this map? Sure. So Receding, like the concept is designed. So we brought this in for Himscarp. When we tested in Himscarp, it was incredible. I think everyone loved playing it as well. Like it looked like it had cool diversification of civs and some interesting like dynamics. So obviously it's a map that you have less safety. I think part of the idea with Receding was to make long-term wood gathering difficult. You start off early, but just like in life, it starts to creep away from you and it's hard to hold on to it with these tree lines. But then the other thing is that when you have to make a farm transition later in the game, there's no corner behind you that you can set farms up on, right? We don't have aqua farms. So you have to take a bit more risk where you place them. So there's a very different style of dynamics in the mid-game to what you'd see on maybe like Dry Arabia. Outside that, we have got points of interest, which is why you're seeing a lot of spear spam. There's a merchant camp to the north side, which Wham is currently taking with Scout. And then there's 3 Forgotten Ruins, which also on a smaller map means these fast castle civs are kind of tuned back a bit, because fast castle can feel pretty good on these more tight maps where you rush relics because they're so close to your base. On this map, only 2 of them spawn by default. And that is Receding. Pretty cool map. Shout out to Caillou for working swiftly to create this. And yes, it does look like a balding man. That was the idea. I also love the Stealth Forest for the beard, just because it just gives you a backstab rotation. And also the water can play into the game hyper late because we sometimes see boats coming out, but it's also the idea you can use to transport ships down the line. Oh, you guys are like, what? I would never admit a boomy map. I mean, boomy maps can be fine within reason. I'm never adding Mountain Pass because it is fundamentally a terrible map. It is one of the worst maps they ever created. Spear spam coming in. Mahodo, good grab there. Moves forward, good micro. Too heavily injured though, and the moment it looked good, Wham gets the double tap response. That was crazy. So in a position where he would have had to retreat otherwise, because even if they're just like 1 HP, there's still attack damage into the start of the next fight. It's a great reaction by Wham to cinch that and secure the area of Forgotten Ruins. On top of that, we haven't got a forge yet. So there's not going to be a melee tech coming out in the Dark Age, even though it would actually be more valuable than a Katana Bannerman. Do Japanese get something out of the Forgotten Ruins? Yes, they get an ability to afford the early melee tech, and they also can play into Daimyo, which will give them Katana Bannerman. I feel a bit rough for Mahodo. I think I can see how this plan could potentially come together, but I think Wham has played this right. You know, one thing we highlight about this map is quite often the big mistake people make is they get the stone eyes. They get way too greedy and they want all Forgotten Ruins. Wham played this right. Only a single one needed. Scale into a lead. Don't rush into it. Spear spam. Coming in. Deerstone is starting to be built by Mahodo, but that means it's going to be a little bit weaker in the defense on this fight. But good enough. 7 versus the 8. Wham may have actually overestimated his hand there slightly. Daimyo did just complete, which means he now has the Katana Bannerman, but this is quite late. Mahodo has a switch up on the way. Yeah, and I'm curious. I have not seen this Katana Bannerman. We mentioned that I'm not quite sure what their stats look like if it's just Dark Age Samurai, because Katana Bannerman are a lot bit different. And what? No. No way is that reasonable. I think this is that has to be an oversight. I think they forgot about this. 155 HP and 3 melee armor in the Dark Age. That is not balanced. I mean, like in theory, you know, it takes a lot of effort to get it, right? Like, when would you ever get enough stone in the Dark Age? I think with the new points of interest, the Forgotten Runes in particular, the devs may need to relook at this. What's that? That's crazy. 155 HP. And remember, he also has deflective armor. Like a samurai, Dark Age samurai has less armor than this. Also, Katana Bannerman, it's not exactly that expensive. 130. And here we go. He's just going to frontline it all. Hardened Stats did just come in for the spears. Kurostoros is on the way. So Mahodo could turn this into a good fight. But look at the micro. You see what he's doing. Wham is intentionally trying to draw more fire into the katana, which has forced Mahodo to now invest on the backside of the fight when he's already been overwhelmed. Yeah, it turns out that damage goes a long way. He had the Tatara plus the Bannerman aura to buff that damage up by about an extra 1.5. And that's crazy because that means your opponent, he got the Harden upgrade for a +1, but you mirrored it. The only upside that Mahodo had was an extra 10 health. And that just didn't matter here. That is crazy. Uvu now to be denied. Kura just around the corner. And also remember, Wham, you know, even if you kill this one Katana Bannerman, he can easily just pump out another one. At this rate, he's going to be able to get up to even more. I mean, 600 stone is a long way to go. But it's just very gradually going to find its way in courtesy of this Forgotten Runes. And by the way, yeah, he does ungarrison. Okay, so he's not going to try to actually unlock it. He's happy with what he's got. That is crazy. I've never seen it before. Genuinely, like, I think this is the first time we've ever in competitive AoE4 seen the Dark Age Katana Bannerman. We know about the feudal Uma Bannerman, and we can admit that that's pretty ridiculously strong, but this is crazy. What a cool readout of Wham. And you could see it was his intent from the get-go. Like, he rushed out with the Rax play onto that Forgotten Runes. This wasn't a reactionary play. He thought of it. How are you still not dead? Oh, other thing about Katana Bannerman that is probably going to make them feel even more busted in the Dark Age. Dark Age is melee dominant. And most civs only have spears. And the interesting thing about the Katana Bannerman, you already saw how hard he is to kill, but he's also incredibly hard to pin down. He's got better movement speed than standard spears. So it's very easy to disengage. I love how we just immediately see Samurai queued up, because, man, I got Katana Bannerman, why not? Still good control in the north as well, so Wham's been getting that extra resource in the merchant camp, remember. Wham, like, what was the intent here? Because he did start building archery and then stopped. Yeah, okay, so... triple archery range now? That's a bit wacky. So I guess the idea here is to toss away the Katana Bannerman and then switch over once you have, like, you know, 10 to 12 Yumi to a Yumi Bannerman. Yumi Bannerman are also kind of crazy at this stage in the game, guys. They're surprisingly tanky because they have got armor and deflective armor. So, yes, they're expensive, 130 compared to the mere 60 of a standard Yumi. They're definitely worth it for that reason. Tankiness plus the aura. Okay, Mahodo. So, what's the plan now? He has started to capture the Forgotten Runes. He's going to go for the stone still. I think that's sensible. Like, you're behind an economy. You feel it. You need something. And Forgotten Runes is going to give you a lot of potential unit pump with the stone gen. But it's going to take a little bit of time. And my worry is that Wham is going full Zerg. Look at this. It's already going to be double-digit Yumi. Another thing is going to be the blacksmith timing. This is something that Japan does really well. It's why I've been waiting for them to thrive in the feudal age, because this is a civ that inherently has a blacksmith already. They're a step ahead of practically every other civ in the game on the cost efficiency. Because for Mahodo, he now has to spend 150 wood to get his hands on blacksmith access. Meanwhile, when you play Japan, oh wow, well you look at that. My mining camp, which only costs 50 wood, is also my blacksmith. Yeah, I've been hyping up Japan as actually a noob-friendly civ, and you start to see the reasons why. The Kura Storehouse makes farm transitions easy, so you don't run out of food. And then there's just the blacksmith techs coming in easy, because you never forget them. But this, you'll never forget this moment. The Katana Bannerman has just been absorbing so many blows. He's finally going to go down. But that rough exchange is now going to get rougher. Really, Wham got exactly what he wanted out of that. The chase was on. He got several kills forcing the retreat. And now he leaves with the next step on the way. Yumi Bannerman is about to be spawned. And Steel Arrow just came in as well. The Keshiks. Yep, good realization by Mahodo. He doesn't want to hang around here. Even more so now that the Samurai have arrived. I think we've got... Yeah, the Yumi Bannerman's coming from far away. So Mahodo has a little bit of time to work with here. I do like the idea of Khan Hunter. What I don't like is the fact that he's leaning north side away from his aura. He's not even remotely overlapping this effect, which means that the Yumi can just run away from you quite easily. They can also jump on you very quickly in a way that makes the Khan Hunter aura feel pretty bad. Like, you maybe get one arrow out for free, and then you get hit. And yes, the Samurai detail is just about absorbing shots. Because, think about it, when you start a step, you often, like, A-click, move, A-click, move. You don't click the units. And this is really underrated about Japanese Yumi play. The reason it's so good here is you actually do not want to specifically click units when it's against Yumi. Because you'll always overkill. This stage, you'll overkill. So you want to be able to A-click, so you're maybe shooting 2 to 3 different Yumi types at the same time. But if you A-click here, you already see what happens. And Keshiks, they're just getting melted. This is... I think this is over. It's a double count on Yumi versus Archer. Mahodo is also out on the deer. That's now going to be forced away. I just don't know what his answer is meant to be anymore. Yeah, just 1 or 2 tanky boys, right? 1 Katana Bannerman in the Dark Age, 2 Samurai at a time in the Feudal Age. Wham's doing simple math to get himself into a win. Now, Undermesh was not prioritized here by Mahodo. So these Keshiks are completely wasted. Yeah, also, like, the Yam just isn't doing enough with the way this is being played out. Khan goes down, so no attack speed buff coming in anytime soon. And now the commitment, the Yumi, able to match the pace. Yes, with the Yam, you are a little bit quicker, but there's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to hide. The Japanese Dark Age Boogeyman is coming for everyone.